Hi everyone, Tony here. Hope you're doing well. We have a special guest, John Kim, the Chief Evangelist and the Head of Security at Litecoin Foundation, Charlie Lee's bodyguard, which John actually just let me know about. John, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Tony. I'm so excited. I told some of the guys at the Litecoin Foundation that I have an interview, and they kind of looked you up and they said, you know, he's kind of a big deal.
Wow.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to have you on. And I was surprised about the security part of it. Any insight you can give there? Did you have to protect Charlie from anyone at any point?
So I'm an ex-cage fighter, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so Charlie, if you ever been to conferences, he gets pulled left and right.
Sure.
You know? Sure. And we want to, I'm next to him just to make sure that in the future that, you know, nothing happens, you know, to Charlie. And I'm just kind of there to make sure that he's protected. Right now, I don't think anybody's going to try anything, but we just want to make sure that, you know, that they won't in the future.
Right. And hey, man, you got the skill set. Ex-cage fighter. I'm not messing with you.
So if they tried, a lot of people will be asleep on the ground.
Awesome, man. Well, I'll definitely, any events I go to, I'm going to hang around you, you know, just in case. Now, I've been a long time Litecoin holder. You know, Litecoin's been one of the crypto has been around for a while, I think, since the beginning of the the market and the movement there. So for those who may be new to the market, however, can you give us an overview of Litecoin and its history?
So Litecoin was created 2011, and it's 4 times the supply of Bitcoin and 4 times faster than Bitcoin. I think what sets Litecoin apart is that there was no pre-mine, and because Charlie wanted to launch Litecoin in a fair way. And what I love about Litecoin is that it doesn't try to compete with Bitcoin. It doesn't try to use the name Bitcoin to validate itself. It was mainly created to complement Bitcoin. Bitcoin is on a SHA-256 algorithm.
Yep.
Litecoin is on a script algorithm. So in so many ways, we do not compete with Bitcoin, even for miners. So when Charlie is such a ethical man, I've been next to him. I've shared a lot of time with him, and he is just an upstanding guy. I don't know what his parents did, but they raised him very well, and is somebody that I look up to and comes through with his words. So whenever he said Litecoin is the silver to Bitcoin's gold,
sure.
Literally, Litecoin is like the little brother of Bitcoin, and we complement Bitcoin in more ways than one. And another thing that we love about Litecoin is that when we go out push for adoption and businesses accept Litecoin, they automatically accept Bitcoin. So whatever we're doing with the boots on the ground, when we're going out and push for adoption and they accept Litecoin, Big Brother comes with us, you know, no matter what. So that's what a lot of the Bitcoin people don't understand, is that we're actually not only working for Litecoin, but we're actually working for Bitcoin at the same time. And I always say that Bitcoin is king, you know, and Litecoin is the prince and the heir, you know. So yeah. Litecoin is it's faster, and it's got 4 times more supply, and it is this may be a little bit controversial, but I believe it's the truth. It is the most reliable blockchain in the world, because for 7+ years, Litecoin had 0 downtime.
Right.
Even Bitcoin had a little bit of hiccup, and it started 2 blocks back. So Litecoin, with its history and with its reliability, I believe is one of the most reliable, if not the most reliable blockchain in the world.
Now, on that point, John, and I'm a big believer in facts and looking at, you know, the data and looking at trends and so forth. It's funny enough, and one of the guests on this show previously, Matty Greenspan of eToro, tweeted about this morning about Litecoin transactions remaining, on-chain transactions remaining over 20K daily. And he said it was very surprising because even in the bear market, you had that sustainability. So can you talk a bit about that? You know, obviously there's a speculation part of this market, and then there's the actual commerce. So can you talk a bit about the sustainability of the transactions?
So I don't know if you guys been following me on Twitter and my mission. Last year I started a tour, hashtag 30 for 30, where I sold my house, my business, and got in my truck, and I put decals, and I left. 30 days, 30 different cities, and meeting Litecoin community members and visiting businesses and pushing for adoption. After over 10,000 miles in 30 days.
Wow.
And I still don't have a home. I'm a nomad, crypto nomad. I just want adoption so bad. And now we have hashtag Ignite the Fire LTC, and we have teams on the ground, boots on the ground, actually going to businesses and pushing for adoption, and they actually accept Litecoin as payment. We just had Bob Moore Subaru accept Litecoin for their cars.
Cool.
And they have 14 dealerships, but we rolled it out with Bob Moore Subaru first. But we are working behind the scenes to implement that on all 14 dealerships, and also with the UFC. Yep. with what's going on behind the scenes I can't really talk about it, but there's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes. And what the Litecoin Foundation and Charlie and everybody is in agreement with is that we don't want sponsorship only.
Right.
So whenever we're dealing with bigger companies, we're always talking about how can we pay with Litecoin, you know? Yeah. So if we can't use Litecoin to purchase or use Litecoin as a form of payment, then we're not interested in sponsoring anyone.
Got it.
I mean? So I think that what you were saying earlier about the transactions is like everything that's been going on behind the scenes actually coming to fruition, and that people, like, you know how so many communities promise, they talk.
Sure.
We have 2 rules at our Litecoin East and West Coast team. 2 rules. Number 1, passion. 2, action over words. Because in real life, in real business world, in real life, no one cares about your opinion. Yeah. Everyone cares about results.
Exactly.
And what Charlie is good at is he under promises and over deliver. So as a community, as we go out and push for adoption, we put up videos of real adoption happening. Sure. Instead of promising that something is going to happen. So I think it's just a perfect storm of everything that we've been working on behind the scenes, and it's just a result that people are seeing right now.
Awesome. And it looks like great progress being made, so kudos to you and your team and the folks there. On the UFC partnership items or the sponsorship, I know some may not be aware of it, but recently you guys did a sponsorship with the UFC, but it sounds like you're working on other things behind the scene where further adoption within their ecosystem, I'm assuming.
Yes, of course. It wasn't a one and done thing.
Yeah.
I'm also friends with some of the UFC fighters, especially Ben Askren. He is a huge investor of crypto, and especially his first investment was Litecoin, and he's a good guy, great character, fits Litecoin and who we want to partner with, and we never paid him, but he's out there and he's promoting Litecoin because he believes that it is the right coin.
Sure.
So, but the UFC 232 was a first, right? Like, cryptocurrency has never hit UFC level.
Yeah.
And Ilir Gashi and David Schwartz of the Litecoin Foundation, they got the deal done. But like the cool thing was that UFC was excited to have us on board, because of course they're gonna do research on who Litecoin is and who the founder, who the creator is, right? And they were just very impressed with what Litecoin's image was and his history and everything like that. So it was a partnership for that event, right? But we're talking behind the scenes to find out how we can how people can pay with Litecoin with UFC, and I think those talks are continuing to go on. So, but if there is something definite, I'm sure the Litecoin Foundation will release the news.
Awesome. That's exciting. I mean, UFC, it's prime time visibility there, and you know, one of the fastest growing sports, you know, getting there on the roadmap. So it sounds like big things happening there.
So did you know this? Did you know ESPN spent $1.5 billion to acquire UFC's televised programs?
Wow, did not know that.
Yeah, so
wow.
Fox used to do it, and Fox era ended, and in 2019 ESPN took over the reins, and they're actually invested heavily into televising UFC events around the world. I think the push is going to be around 10 times more than what Fox could do,
sure,
because ESPN is just, it's a giant of a company. So we knew that. That's why we took advantage of it, because we knew that UFC was going to go crazy global in 2019 because of ESPN.
Yeah. Wow. Sounds like great progress being made. You know, congrats to you guys for getting that partnership, and yeah, I think it's going to give you some great exposure. But
another thing,
yep.
Tony, real quick. Really nice thing that happened for us being on UFC 232 was that it literally like sent like alarms to all these huge organizations. So right after the event, we were getting emails from like, if I told you the names, you'd be like, oh my gosh, right? So yeah. Because of that one event, like everyone started to take notice of Litecoin and wanted to like talk to us and discuss with us about future partnership. But we stand firm in the fact that if we cannot pay with Litecoin, we will not be sponsoring anything anymore.
That's awesome to hear. I think the Litecoin holders and those looking at Litecoin, that's great to hear. It's not just about the promo aspect, but we want actual utility and adoption. So that's awesome. Absolutely. And on that note of utility and adoption, we heard recently about the Beam partnership. Can you give us a bit more insight? I know it's about fungibility as well as adding some privacy to Litecoin. So can you give us some insight on that? So
if you guys know about fungibility, is one of the aspects of being a sound money, and Bitcoin and Litecoin was missing that. And Charlie Lee and Litecoin Foundation, they're one of those people that they just don't like something to be incomplete.
Sure.
You know? So we can't move on if, as a world currency, if Litecoin and Bitcoin is not fungible. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it was always in the back of Charlie's mind, and then he's going to release the confidential transactions on chain. But we're working with Beam developers on implementing privacy tech, right?
Yep.
But they already reviewed the code and everything. But we're going to try to see how useful it'll be so we can implement it. So we're still in the research stage. But yeah, I think Beam is going to be a good partnership that's going to work out very well.
Awesome. And then you have another milestone coming up this year for Litecoin, I believe, the Halving, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. You know, I think Halving is what, August 7th?
Yeah, I believe that was the day, yeah.
August 7th. Halving's coming, and yeah, kind of excited about it. But, you know, is it going to affect price? I believe so. Yeah. You know, because you're going from, I think, 25 to 12.25. So yeah, I think halving is great, and I don't have too much to say about the halving, but I mean, I think a lot of people are excited that always kind of moves the price a little bit. But
sure,
you know, at the end of the day, for us, it's not really about price, because it's about adoption.
Yeah.
Because in the long-term goal of the Litecoin Foundation and true believer is that adoption will make the price follow it instead of us following the price. So adoption, true use case and adoption will end the volatility and the manipulation, and that's the long-term goal of the true believers of Litecoin.
Agreed. I think like you hit the nail on the head. Adoption and utility, it's going to end that manipulation and the over speculation, right? Sure, you can't get rid of speculation in any market, but the over speculation, I think it's going to certainly, help control that.
Absolutely.
Cool. Now, we know the Lightning Network is something that's being worked on for both Bitcoin and obviously Litecoin. I'd love to, if you can share any updates along those lines with Litecoin being on the Lightning Network.
We're working on Neutrino. Have you heard of Neutrino?
I don't think I have.
Okay. Neutrino allows a user to access the Lightning Network without having to download the whole blockchain. Right. So right now, Litecoin Foundation is currently developing a Neutrino Lightning wallet for iOS and Android.
Wow.
So we're developing at the development stage right now, but it's going to be exciting. Lightning Network is going to be so crazy. Even after Jack on Twitter. Receiving the torch, and just there's no other, like, everybody wants to talk about faster scalability, but Lightning Network is the only scaling solution, mass scaling solution that we have with available for us right now, and that will be able to really take Litecoin and Bitcoin into mass adoption. And the beautiful thing about the Lightning Network is that Charlie Lee is the one that pushed for segregated witness.
Yep.
The Bitcoin people were kind of on the fence about it, and we implemented segregated witness first, and then proved to the Bitcoin people that it is safe. And now, looking back, segregated witness is the prerequisite to being on the Lightning Network.
Yeah.
So one more time, Litecoin complements Bitcoin.
Yeah, kudos to you guys for doing that, leading the charge, being ahead of the curve there. And I think hopefully some of the Bitcoin maximalists watching this video will recognize the value that Litecoin's bringing towards Bitcoin and taking the first step forward. And
I love Bitcoin maximalists. No, I really do. They stand firm in their belief, but I do not like Bitcoin extremists.
Yeah.
I don't think that you need to bash other coins in order for you to succeed.
Exactly.
You don't have to put out somebody else's light in order for your light to become brighter. That's just what Litecoin Lisa told me one time. And I just believe that if you really, it's like sports, right? It's like boxing. It's like fighting. Before I trained to be a fighter, I was that guy at the bar, right? that if you said something wrong, or if you looked at me wrong, and I'm over here like cursing and trying to show you how tough I am. But after you become an expert in something, you don't really have anything to prove.
Right.
You're more quiet. Like now, if I was at a bar or something at a restaurant, somebody was to say something to me, I'd just walk away, because I feel sorry for that person.
Right.
I don't have anything to prove. I just know that it would be unfair for me to, fight with him. So I would just walk away. So I think the true Bitcoin maximalists are like Antonopoulos, where he doesn't bash other coins or other projects.
Sure.
He focuses on what Bitcoin and what it can do for the world. And those people I listen to and I respect and admire.
Right.
But if your whole existence is to be the defender of Bitcoin, which, if you're a defender of Bitcoin, then you've just proved that Bitcoin needs you.
Yeah.
Bitcoin does not need anyone to defend it, right?
Exactly.
But they believe that they sit on the judgment seat and they get to dictate what's good and what's bad. And that I don't like the spirit that they bring, that judgmental, critical spirit that they bring, and it really offends me. So I try to stay away from the extremists, but I love the Bitcoin maximalists.
Yeah, I think you painted it correctly. Extremists, right? That you need to go around bashing everything. You need to be trolling nonstop. That's nonsense. It's childish. Like, put that effort towards building Bitcoin up and getting it moving forward, you know?
Exactly.
Cool. So, John, I know you talked about a lot going on with Litecoin, but what else can we expect in 2019? I know there's some things that are probably under the wraps that you're working on. Anything you can give us a preview of or a hint of?
Well, the Litecoin Summit is 2019. Litecoin Summit will be in Las Vegas.
Cool.
On October 28th and 29th. And it's going to be a blockchain week. So we're going to start with Litecoin Summit, and then we're going to end with World CryptoCon.
Right.
So it's going to be 1 week of just straight blockchain crypto week. And it's going to be at the Cosmopolitan. And it's going to be a great event. And I hope many people come to it, because it's going to be so much fun. But behind the scenes is that we're working on actual use case with big companies. Which and I'm also working on something that has to do with let's just say concert. Right? That I think that's all I can say right now. Concert and the people that we are actually dealing with behind the scenes are big companies.
Awesome.
Are names that everyone knows, but we're still in the process of negotiation, so nothing's concrete. But I can assure you one thing: we don't have to try to get on exchange. We don't have to try to spend our resources and energy trying to prove that we're a good coin. You know, we're on every exchange. We are next to Bitcoin, the most liquid. You know, everything's set, and all our focus is on adoption and use case. And how can you mess with a community that only has one thing to focus on, right? So for us, is as we laser-like focus on adoption and use case, I just don't think there's any other team in crypto right now that has the momentum, that has the passion, that has the community to be able to pull off a big shocker, you know, in the space. And I just believe the Litecoin is the coin and the community that will be able to achieve that in 2019 and beyond.
Awesome. So, John, and finally, this is not financial or investment advice. I think folks would love to get your take on the market. Obviously, no one can predict the future, and we're not asking for price prediction, but you know, we've been in a very long bear market, and it's been crypto winter. So what do you think? Do you think, you know, we could possibly come out of this bear market sometime this year, you know, given that some ETFs are potentially could be approved? We got the Token Taxonomy Act and some other big players like your BACT, your Fidelities, and so forth getting ready to launch. What's your outlook for the market?
I think, excuse me, I think Litecoin is the light that will shine in the darkness and lead the bear market, lead all the cryptos out of the bear market. I believe it's already started, but I don't know how much or what the price action will be, but I just know that I just want to congratulate everyone for holding on and for going through this bear market. But I just believe that there is a light shining in this darkness that we are in right now. And I think the future is bright because at some point, what's happening behind the scenes has to catch up to what's going on, you know, in front of everyone. So
Sure.
From what I see, what I hear, and what's going on and what's being planned, I think crypto, Litecoin, Bitcoin will shock many people this year and on.
Awesome. Well, John, a lot of insightful information. Thank you so much for joining us. We would love to have you on again, you know, as things progress and there's new announcements. Sounds like a lot of progress being made on the Litecoin front, so really appreciate you joining us.
Thank you, Tony. And guys, press that subscribe button, press that like button. Tony is a good man. And I want to leave you guys with this. At the end of the day, this is not just to make money. You can start as a speculator. You can start buying Litecoin and Bitcoin to make money. But as you really learn about what Litecoin and Bitcoin can do to billions of people who doesn't have a bank account, who cannot participate in commerce, this Litecoin and Bitcoin for American people is just a product that they can make money off of. But for some, it's an answer to prayer. So thank you, Tony, and I appreciate it, and I can't wait to come back on your show.
Awesome. Thank you, John. Appreciate it.